I was thinking about that today. I don't know what I was doing.
You were mowing.
This was a driving thought. No, I wasn't mowing.
Here's pooping.
Dude, honestly, my yard needs to be mowed again. I don't know if y'all's
You were
is
just
the same.
mowing like 2 days ago.
It poured at our house.
Imagine if there's a commode on a mower.
Dude.
Oh my God, you never
Imagine.
leave.
My head just blew off.
Bobby's
my
been on
shoulders.
the mower 6 hours. His legs are numb.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. Josh Raymer here in the Sode Shack. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. It is a beautiful day here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. How are you fine gentlemen doing today?
I am doing so good, Josh. I'm doing so good.
Bobo?
Why are you doing so good,
why are you doing
Addy?
so good, Addy?
Just everything's good right now.
Everything's good?
Yeah, summertime. I feel good in the summer.
You feel good in the summer?
Yeah,
Tell
winter
us why.
sucks. Winter sucks. I mean, I think that's a pretty common.
Not a winter boy?
No, not so much. I don't like being cold. More golf, hanging outside, cooking, grilling. You kidding me? It's the best.
What you been grilling?
Steaks, a lot of steaks.
Okay.
Steaks are usually in the mix.
Burger boy?
Burgers always, yeah.
Okay.
Chickens.
Anything.
Have I ever told y'all my my burger grilling story? Love my wife. She's great. She's a great cook. Really good cook. And one day gave me some burger patties to go grill. Threw them on the grill. They were really they burned hot. Like trying to catch the grill on fire a lot. We got a green egg and this is not normal. Something's wrong here. We get through. You put your dressing on, a little mayo, lettuce, tomato, whatever you feel like. Some pickles. Get you a big bite. That's sausage.
Alrighty then. Get you a sausage burger.
Yeah, we ate them. It was
That
fun.
could be a thing. That may be a thing in the future,
You talk
Maybe a
about
thing.
You never know.
that was a lot of sausage. I'll say.
Too much
Hey,
sausage.
there's no such thing, brother.
Hey, summertime means baseball. We're going up to a Reds game for the first
Wow.
time in probably 5-6 years,
I-
maybe longer than that.
I looked today about going maybe Thursday or Friday night.
So they have
Cubby's in town.
They have a kids section where it's close to the playground.
Didn't know
Tickets are
that.
$26. So we just bought up a bunch of tickets for Father's Day for the fam. Headed up there,
The whole squad.
whole squad.
Wow.
We're parked. We're literally sitting right next to where the playground
dad,
is. Yeah,
your brother
Dad,
going?
Yeah,
Let's go.
Connie, all the kids.
That's
Let's
dangerous.
go.
So yeah,
It's a Raymer thing.
It's a Raymer thing. We're going to be up in Cincy. We used to do the annual Cincinnati trip with
Yeah.
all of our buddies. Got
Kind
kicked-
of came to a halt after
had a couple of incidents that resulted in us maybe not wanting to go to Cincinnati as much anymore.
yeah. Weren't as welcome at some places.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The Garfield, I don't think probably still has our picture up
Yeah.
in the lobby. Like, do
Yeah.
not let these people rent rooms at this hotel.
We did enjoy our time though, Garfield.
Yes, it was. It was a very nice establishment.
We're grateful for the time we did have.
I'm thankful for what we
Sorry
had.
it ended the way it did.
We are sorry. And sorry to the person who drove by in their car.
Dude, I haven't even been to a Reds game since Barry Larkin was their shortstop.
It's a long time.
What?
It's a long
Yeah.
time. That was like
Synergy
early
Field.
2000s.
Yeah.
What was who's the
Probably
owner?
late 90s.
Who's the owner of the Reds?
No idea.
Marge
Yeah,
Shot.
Marge, yeah.
She
I
still
think she passed.
I
really?
think she's been dead for 40 years.
Oh,
by now.
gotcha. I'm sorry.
Yeah, her granddaughter's probably running the place now.
It's legitimately maybe a great
Great-granddaughter.
granddaughter. Let's see when Marge Shot died.
Watch, she's still alive.
What if she is still running the team? I'm going to eat a whole lot of crow.
Mm-hmm.
No, she looks like died in 2004. So she's been
Oh,
dead
geez.
20 years.
Sorry, Marge. That's a
She
while
was-
back.
All the pictures
Hey, she
she's
was
in
there
on
when you were-
Google was
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
ripping heaters in all of her pictures on Google.
I
so
think that was like kind of
probably the lung cancer that got her.
maybe. Oh me, love the Reds, dude. I grew up with the Reds. That was so much fun. I every single day on the radio had the Reds on.
Yep.
You know.
Fox Sports.
Yep.
South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's gone, right?
I think so.
yeah, no longer a channel.
Yeah. Cincinnati about 4 hours from us. So
It's gonna be a good time.
And
a lot,
the
of, a
Reds.
lot of Reds fans around here. A lot of Braves fans. A lot of Cardinals fans.
We're such an interesting melting pot for fandom. I feel like every sport you get like 3 different kind of major fan bases.
I can tolerate the Cardinals fans. I can't stand Braves fans.
There's a lot here.
I don't know what it is about them. There's an arrogance to them. There's
That's that 95
Yeah.
World Series.
like Glavine, Maddox,
Yeah.
Smoltz.
They just got one recently, too,
Chipper.
right? 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Did they?
They did.
Wow.
I hadn't been keeping up in a while.
Yeah. Baseball.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you who it was last year. Astros, I think, have won a bunch.
Can
So-
you name 2 players on the Reds?
There is
Delhi, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Ellie. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
I can't. It used to be Joey Votto, but I think he's in Toronto now. I think he's with the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Because I looked this up the other day. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Okay.
So if we're going to buy the kids' jerseys, it's going to be that guy because I can't name a single other player. So welcome into the IDP show. We're not going to talk baseball the entire time. You'll be happy to hear. This episode, we are going to be looking at the outlook for second-year IDPs. Now that we have wrapped our rookie coverage for 2024, we are going to look back at the rookies from 2023. We have a year's worth of data now for these players to say, what do we think about them headed into their sophomore season? There's a great series that Underdog does looking at potential second-year breakouts because a lot of the offensive guys, if they don't break out in year one, are in a prime position to break out in year two. So we're going to do something similar today. We're going to go through all of the big notable names for the 2023 rookie class and say, what do we think about these players in a dynasty context and for, 2024 as well, now that we have a little bit of information to go off of. So, boys, this should be a fun one. We got 18 names on the list. We're going to go position by position. We've broken it out, DT, edge, DB, and only one linebacker. You can probably guess who it is. But, boys, looking at this list, the depth of this group from last year was definitely the defensive line. Between all the edge rushers that went in the first round, the defensive tackles that really burst onto the scene, it's definitely a defensive line heavy group.
Yeah, and just so many of those edge rushers really haven't had a chance to show what they can do yet. So, but yeah, I mean, at the top you got Jalen Carter, Kalijah Kancey, and then Kobe Turner. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's just get into it. Starting off with D tackle, yeah, Jalen Carter, Kalijah Kancey, and Kobe Turner. It feels like to me, Bobo, this is the strength of this 2023 class is the defensive tackles.
Oh, for sure. Jalen Carter, Adams, Dynasty, DT, 2.
Yep.
I mean, might be a little. Is it hot takey? It's really probably
Big
not.
Q still number one.
Big Q number one.
Jalen Carter's great. Kalijah Kancey, another guy that I really, really like.
You got him on your main
Also,
roster.
Yeah, XFL. And then Kobe Turner, another guy. Kobe Turner's the one, I guess, for me that I need to see it apart from Aaron Donald.
And you need to see it with Braden Fisk now in town.
Yeah, man.
What's that going to look like? What's that split going to look like?
So excited for the Rams.
I think it'll be both those guys.
Yeah.
I think Kobe Turner, not
1 and 2,
not
right?
being Aaron Donald, but slotting into the Aaron Donald, I think, snap share with Fisk maybe in the Kobe Turner snap share. I mean, do they split it up a little more evenly?
Yeah, I think both those
This
guys.
year?
I think both those guys get over 50%.
Yeah.
Which is really all you're looking for, right?
I mean, you're looking at you have
Kobe
Turner.
will get what he got last year, I think, at least.
I don't
which
think
was-
he's going down, is he?
No. That line as a whole has gotten much better though.
62% snaps in 23.
62%. Yeah, so he'll be 62
65.
to 70.
Yeah. You have Kobe Turner as D tackle 14, Kalijah Kancey as D tackle 7. So think about that. This one class produced 1/5 of the top 15 of dynasty defensive tackles. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Considering we've talked about a lot on this show how rich and deep the defensive tackle pool is right now. But you start at the top there, Addy. Jalen Carter, I mean, just everything I think we wanted to see, maybe not from a fantasy standpoint, but the flashes that we got to see, 87.4 overall, 84.6 pass rush grade from PFF, 11.7 pressure rate, 6 sacks. He had a defensive touchdown, played just 51% of snaps. So I know that the questions are like, what's the snap share look like along that defensive line, where traditionally they run a lot of guys in and out of there. But I could not be more bullish on Jalen Carter for dynasty at least.
Yeah, man. He's going to be the guy leading those snaps among the defensive tackles they have. No doubt about it. He's special. I mean, to come out and put up those numbers PFF-wise year one, I mean, that's really, really good. That's a sign of good things to come. 11.7% pressure rate out the gate as a defensive tackle. Really, really good. You don't see that a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I think everything you want to see. I mean, the fantasy production wasn't there yet. Who cares? Like, it'll come. Like, no one was really counting on Jalen Carter in redraft leagues. Like, you drafted this guy knowing that he's a defensive tackle and he's probably going to take a little bit of time to develop. And I think once he does, like, you're going to potentially have like a cheat code type player on your hands. And the environment is really good, and it's a team that always invests in the defensive line. So
Vic Fangio now is the defensive
Vic
coordinator.
Fangio, and that does a lot of good things for pass rushers.
Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer. We're very happy
Saw
to
Jalen
have
Phillips last season for half a year, ball the hell out. So, yeah, I mean, I love Jalen Carter. I think that 2 probably is bullish and maybe a bit hot takey, considering there's guys like, Jeffrey Simmons who have already done it, Justin Matabuke, your boy.
That's your 3 and 4.
So, I mean, there's some good ones out there, but going upside here with Jalen Carter, I think that he can reach the levels of all those guys I just mentioned, and I think there's room for maybe a little bit more.
I worry about he's being taken right now, D-tackle 8 in best ball. That seems a little rich to me.
What is it overall, though?
DL 41.
Yep. I'll take it. I've taken plenty of
just-
Jalen Carter. You're getting him in like the 8th, 9th round. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I think it'll be all right.
Kalijah Cansey is the one I'm in on just as much, though, because you look at 62% of snaps last season, 10.2% pressure rate, going as the D-tackle 15, the DL 58 overall. So I think I'd rather take the Cansey discount.
Yeah.
8.4 points per game in 23. Jalen Carter, 8.5 points per game. Kobe Turner was actually the leader in points per game last year at 10.2 with a 10% pressure rate, playing 62% of snaps. So there's no reason not to like all of these guys, man.
That just happened in, what are we in, BB19?
BB19, yep.
So shout out to Jakey. He took Kalijah Cansey there at 11.8, whereas Country Boy Swagger took Jalen Carter at 7.10. I'm with you. I'll take Kalijah Cansey there at the 11.08.
Yeah, it's great value.
Because I see those guys pretty similar.
Yeah.
I see Jalen Carter a little bit ahead, Cansey just a step down from that. But if I'm getting that kind of discount, just for 2024, I think the dynasty outlook, I'm much more bullish on Carter.
Yeah. Ken Cansey, I mean, he's pretty much the centerpiece of that defense now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Yaya there, who's still young. He had a great first year as well. Vita Vea. He's getting up there in age, right? And you lost Shaq Barrett. They brought in Chris Braswell. I think he could be pretty solid for him, but Joe Tryon, he's not anything at this point, I don't think. So, yeah, I mean, Cansey is going to be relied on heavily. And, yeah, I mean, he was someone that I was hyped up about coming out of Pittsburgh. He's one of those types, right? He's more of the pass rusher. He's a little smaller, but yeah, I think we could look up and he could have like a 10-sack season here at some point pretty soon.
Yeah. So defensive tackle outlook for all these guys is, I mean, 5 stars across the board.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be that. We're going to talk about the edge group here, and there's one superstar and honestly just a bunch of question marks. Guys that I think we feel good about potential upside, but like as a group, defensive tackle, this was an absolute smash, Bobo, for the 2023 class.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. We just got done talking. I don't know where it was today. We were talking about the depth of maybe it was Johnny, the depth of defensive tackle and just how it's just crazy. I remember when we first started here, it was basically Jarrell Casey, Grady Jarrett.
Kenny Clark was
Kenny Clark
mentioned.
had some years there. I mean, if you didn't
It
have
felt almost like cornerbacks where you were just streaming it.
You were reaching a lot more, like trying to find these next guys. Now it's like you don't really have. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Now.
I mean, a lot of us have multiples, We're sitting here talking about, I have Kalijah Cansey, but I might go get Justin Matabuke in the auction, I'm sitting here trying to think. I mean, I agree with your evaluation, Adam. I'm looking at Quentin Williams. He's 26.5 right now, the IDPshow.com in the ranks. You see the age, everything. Jalen Carter, 23.2. Jeffrey Simmons, 26.9. And then Justin Matabuke, a little older than I thought he was, 26.6 years old.
See, I thought he would have been like 28 or something.
Oh, really?
He felt just kind of older just because, I don't know. I think I have a part of my memory that like I'm like, we talk about these guys so many years ago. Like we talk about Matabikwe with Nate Tice, like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Matabikwe is probably 28 at this point.
Yeah.
So all those guys. And defensive tackle is not a position where I worry about age as much at all.
Yeah.
Because these guys age so well. I mean, we've seen Cam Hayward now at 33, 34.
Yep.
Be as dominant as ever. So I think these guys age very well.
And honestly, I think you could even see like some steps taken in 2024. I think Q could take another step this year. You know, he was a little bit disappointing last year from a points per game perspective. 22 points in 2022. He had 15.9 points per game, but then went to last year 11.6 points per game. Jeffrey Simmons.
Both those guys are prime bounce back.
Yeah. Justin Matabikwe, I would like to say that you probably you got to think maybe he's a regression candidate.
Just have to with those sacks.
But,
yeah.
Man, he you watch ball, you watch a game with Justin M. He just lives in the backfield.
Yeah, he's violent.
Yeah, he's
Fast.
he affects a lot of plays. I gotta probably agree with you, Addy. I think if I were to have 4 of those guys ranked there, that's probably about where I would have them ranked also.
Then you got guys like Christian Barmore, Ed Oliver,
Derek Brown,
Dexter Lawrence,
Zach Sealer, Zach Allen,
Byron Murphy, the
DeForest
second
Buckner.
now. He's going to be creeping up potentially.
Johnny Newton.
Yep.
I mean, it is
Braden Fisk. Fisk.
Yeah, it is crazy how deep defensive tackle got.
One knock with Kobe Turner was he is a little bit older. 25.1 already.
Yeah.
Again, don't care.
Don't care really.
Yeah. Age for me with defensive tackle is not a big deal.
Turner was awesome. Looking at the splits, I pulled those earlier. 7.3 points per game, weeks 1 through 7, 13.5 weeks 10 through 18.
That's what you love to see. Guys finishing well to end the season. Like, end your rookie season strong. Like, I think that's the best indicator.
And you love the fact that he did get 1 year of Aaron Donald, and I'm sure he still has his number, and he can still reach out to him for some
Aaron
advice.
Donald's going to be at training camp helping some of these guys out,
He'll probably come back.
Probably, right? It kind of
see
feels
the
like a
thing with
Tom
J.J.
Brady
Watt?
situation.
Did you see the thing with J.J. Watt where he's told D'Amico Ryans that if you need him?
Yeah. Don't call me unless you need me.
Yeah.
But if you need me, I'll be
We're sitting
there.
here in November. Will Anderson's gone down.
Yeah.
But also like, J.J. Watt, do you want me to call you, bro?
Yeah, because I'll call you. We can
Just
throw
say
you
it,
out
dude.
there as like the DN3 right now.
Are you going to be mad if I don't call you?
Yes. Just say that you want me to call you, JJ, and I will. Is it 600% pain right now?
Gosh,
Right.
imagine. That'd be a nice little setup for him right now.
Come play like
yeah.
35,
Very
40%
rotational
snaps.
piece.
He'll think
Third
about it
down
now.
only.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that team's got like Super Bowl aspirations now,
Absolutely.
How
yes.
old is JJ?
34, 35.
And he
Wow.
played so well his last season.
Yeah,
he
he
did
was
not
great.
go out with a whimper.
No,
So
he's good.
speaking of Houston edge rushers, though, let's transition to the edge position and kick things off.
tight.
That was
good
a
rhyme.
good. That was
Well
very
done.
good.
That's
You
sick.
guys teed me up very nicely. Thank you for that. Will Anderson is Addie's edge 4 right now. 23. The 2023 points per game was 11.5. Currently going as the edge 9 right now in our best ball drafts. Tyree Wilson is Addie's edge 28. 5.2 points per game, going as edge 61. Tuli Tuipulotu of the Los Angeles Chargers, edge 29 by Adams rankings, 8.7 points per game in 2023, edge 39 in the ADP. Lucas Van Ness, Green Bay Packers, edge 30 by the rankings, 6.3 points per game in 2023. He is edge 46 by the ADP. Byron, not so young. Thank you for that one, Aaron.
I didn't
Los
like it.
Angeles Rams, edge 38, 10.8 points per game, going as edge 36 in the ADP. Yaya Diaby, edge 39 for Addy, 8.6 points per game in 2023, going as the edge 40. Nolan Smith, Philadelphia Eagles, edge 40, 2.5 points per game. We saw like, what was it? 188 snaps of Nolan Smith, so just not a lot to go off of. Going as the edge 45. Miles Murphy, Cincinnati Bengals, edge 41, 4.2 points per game, going as the edge 65. And a couple more guys here. The edge, it's a lot of edge rushers because there were a lot of highly drafted guys last year, 7 in the first round. Will McDonald, New York Jets, edge 42, 5.1 points per game, going as the edge 48. And then Nick Herbig, Pittsburgh Steelers, edge 49 by Adams rankings, 4.6 points per game, going as edge 63. Actually, he's only listed as a linebacker in Sleeper, which is nuts.
They got to change that.
Yeah, so he's currently the LB 63, but he would be edge 72 if he had dual designation.
Somebody send Sleeper a DM.
Please, yes, let's get this fixed. So, boys, I threw a lot of names out there, but let's start with Will Anderson, and then we can talk about some of these other guys. Addy, you have him as edge 4 right now. We talked about a little bit bullish with the Jalen Carter ranking. I think you could say the same thing here, but Will Anderson did nothing but prove that he deserves to be there in his rookie season.
Yeah, very impressive out the gate. 81.6 overall PFF grade last year, 76.6 pass rush grade, 15% pressure rate. That is very, very impressive for a rookie. You don't see that a lot. And I think he got better as the year progressed. He looked really good in the playoffs. They bring in Danielle Hunter. You know, that should help a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this guy's a roof. Mm-hmm. Ceiling's a roof. Mm-hmm. You know,
the sky is a roof.
This guy,
room without a roof.
This guy's awesome. He's going to be an asset you want for the next 10 years. Yeah, you can't have enough Will Anderson in any format, really. I mean, are we going to be surprised if this dude finishes top 3 next season?
No, not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if he was edge 1 in the video that we do next year for top dynasty edge rushers.
If he has that type of finish, he's edge 1.
Yes, and that's
Turner edge 2.
Yes, there you go. Latu has edge 3, as long as we can get that in there. But that's a great Chop. Yeah, he wants Chop, not Jared Verse, his guy, Chop Robinson.
Pretty messed up.
Chop.
It's a great though excuse for the team building side in the actual NFL of like, yeah, the Texans paid a lot to get back up to 3 and take Will Anderson after taking C.J. Stroud, but now you have the face of your offense and your defense. If you smash those 2 picks, Houston is set up now for the next 10, 15 years with these 2 guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, always, if you have that kind of conviction, like just go get your guys, because if they hit, it doesn't matter what you paid for them. So
it was so obvious, so that Will Anderson was going to be special. Like,
I don't know. It was like
I can't believe if anyone had a take that he wasn't going to be good,
or that they paid too much to come up and get him. It's like you took J.J. Watt's successor in Houston, and now you've got a franchise quarterback plus your face of your defense.
Yeah, he's like Micah Parsons. That's who he. I mean, he's going to be like little Micah Parsons.
Yep,
I think.
And what's Micah Parsons about to get on a new deal? Probably about to get that Bosa money, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
So
$200 million potentially.
You got Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons.
He'll get more than Brian Burns just got.
Yeah.
So he'll get 170 to 1, something like that.
You think he'll get Bosa money?
What Bosa get?
Right underneath it.
Bosa got 1.
Is it in your ranks? Let's see. Nick Bosa. That was recent though. Last year, 5 years, $170 million before the 2023 NFL season.
He'll reset the market.
Yeah, I think so too.
They just got a lot of money. Well, the Bosa deal was probably when they were at like $210 million cap.
Yeah, it was last year.
Okay, yeah.
So that helps as well.
223 or something like that last year.
Will Anderson, you're exactly right, Addy. He started a little slow. 1 sack basically through the first 7 weeks, but then after the bye, he had 6 sacks. He had a sack in the playoffs. Down the stretch in Big 3 scoring, he put up a 26-point game, put up a 34-point game. Will Anderson, I added him in a Devy league years ago. Shout out Nico. We draft some Devy IDPs, which is fun. Will Anderson is one of the guys that has been talked about coming out of college on the defensive side of the ball for multiple years. I think Will Anderson could be. How high do I really want to reach here? I think this could be one of the best dynasty edge assets for a long while.
He's right up there with Micah Parsons. I mean, that's
in the mix.
That's the comp.
But I'm just saying right now, you look at Will Anderson, you look at like all of his years at Alabama, he was really, really good. His first year now at Houston with D'Amico Ryans has a little bit of help there with Jonathan Grenard. Linebacking play was pretty bad, but now has Danielle Hunter, has a little help there on the line as well.
Autry too. I forget about him.
Danico Autry's also there. You've got a young quarterback who's probably going to put you in situations with the game where you're ahead The opposing team is throwing the ball more. You're going to have more pass rushing opportunities. All right, so Will Anderson also in year one, look at the PFF grades. We've already talked about him. 81.6 overall, pass rush of 76.6, pressure rate of 15%. Amazing. The other big thing that Adam loves here, Will Anderson, 22.7 years old. I think that if you're not trying to acquire Will Anderson right now, the price is going to get out of control going into 2025. He's probably the most attainable right now that he might ever be.
Yeah, for the next 5 years.
Exactly.
I think so. Yeah.
Exactly.
If he has the kind of season we think he can have,
Yeah.
and he's suddenly sitting at edge one when we do the edge ranking episode next year, what does he cost at that point?
Yeah.
Multiple firsts, probably?
Yeah.
First and a second?
And imagine him in 3 years when his body really
Yes.
develops, right?
Yep.
When he's 23 or
Yeah.
24, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm not trying to say he's going to be like the best edge like for the next 10 years. I'm just basically saying that like in this time frame, this window that we're in right now, you're not acquiring Aiden Hutchinson, you're not acquiring Nick Bosa, you're not getting maybe you'll get like Max Crosby.
Oh, I'm trying to acquire Aiden Hutchinson.
Myles Garrett's a little bit older, but Aiden Hutchinson is going to cost you quite a bit more, I feel like.
Who do you
than
think
Will
costs
Anderson.
more right now? Aiden Hutchinson or Will
Aiden
Anderson?
Hutchinson.
Aiden by a hair, a little bit.
I think it's pretty close.
I don't know
think-
though. Maybe I'm wrong. If that's the case, you should be trying to go get Will Anderson plus for Aiden.
I agree. Yes.
I think they're they're right. They're 3 and 4, I believe.
I don't think there's a wide gulf in terms of trade value, like the compensation you'd have to spend to get these guys. Maybe like a first. What would Aiden cost? A first and a third?
first and a third, something like that.
And maybe Will Anderson's like
first.
Yeah.
just a first. Just a
Yeah.
flat out first.
I'd be okay with that.
Get the extra third.
Because essentially you're saying that like you're just giving them their money back, really. A lot of, leagues, Superflex and probably 1 QB, Will Anderson was probably a consideration in the first round because that
He
was
was a
kind of a
first-round
weak
pick,
offensive group. I don't know. Not to stick on Will Anderson too long. I just really
Well,
think that like
the rest of this edge group's a big old question mark.
Yeah.
And this is the one guy we can speak about
Yeah.
with some kind of certainty.
I'm just saying that at the end of 2024, you could look up and with a crazy Will Anderson finish, it's going to be like, well, I'm not getting that guy now.
No, it's if you want to go get him, now's the time. Because unless he gets hurt,
Yeah.
I don't see him really finishing worse than he did in 2023.
Yeah, that doesn't mean go spend two
Yeah,
firsts
yeah,
right now.
sure.
No, don't overpay.
Yeah.
But
But if you can get him for a first,
kick the tires,
just
just see what you could.
the move. What would you have? Would you have traded Keon Coleman?
Yes.
For Will Anderson, yes,
Okay,
100%.
Jonathan Brooks for Will Anderson.
Yep.
Yep.
Brock Bowers for Will Anderson.
Ooh,
Yes.
that is pretty close, but yeah, I think I still would take Anderson.
I'm probably taking the
Any
big
of those.
the big 5 wide receivers ahead of Will Anderson. And then
Xavier Worthy over Will Anderson,
probably.
and Brian Thomas over.
Probably.
Oh.
Yep. I'm liable to be wrong. Bowers
so what
is
is
liable
that?
to be a smash.
106,
Yeah, I think I would.
107.
I think I would take Will Anderson over Worthy and Thomas, but I don't think I would take him over. I think him and Bowers is kind of a wash.
I could see
It's
a world
very close.
I could see a world where I would take him maybe over Worthy. I don't think I'd take him over Thomas. I don't know. The Bowers I'd have to sit and think on for a little while.
Bowers is right there where it's like I'm
You
definitely
take
not.
him over Brooks?
Yeah,
I'm definitely not taking him versus the big 3 wide receivers. But Bowers is where it starts to become a question mark.
Okay.
But the other 2 wide receivers, I would rather have Will Anderson.
You rather have Aiden or BTJ?
Aiden.
Aiden or Rome?
I love Brian Thomas Jr. though.
Same thing with
But, I mean-
Aiden Hutchinson. I'd rather have the big 3 wide receivers over Aiden Hutchinson.
And then Aiden?
Probably. I see Aiden and Will Anderson very, very similar. I see it as like next gen Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa type of thing, where it's
gotcha.
like these are the 2 guys moving forward.
And it's got to be. I've got to be in a situation where like I'm ready to compete. I'm a defensive
Yeah.
end away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna
What are
go
you
with.
doing?
I'll bank on maybe I can get Brian Thomas to be worth 2 firsts.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Hutchinson ain't ever reaching.
I
that.
know that's not something we really preach in here of like going and getting a guy like Will Anderson. Kind of want to a lot of times let the value fall. But
only
even
time I ever pay for guys if I'm set up. Like
Yeah.
the only like recent trades I've made, I've traded for TJ Watt,
Yeah.
and I've traded for Foye.
yeah,
I traded for Roquan in the league as well. So it's that's the only time, like if I'm spending
Making a
up,
push.
I need a certified stud.
Yeah, exactly.
for
If
the
you're going to
next
go
2-3 years.
spend up on Will Anderson.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I was thinking about the other day. Several of my leagues have had several vacancies over the last couple of years, and that's a little quick sub note. I think the best thing to do as far as being like a good dynasty football player is play less leagues. Just play fewer leagues and pay more attention to those.
Yeah, if you're not a good person, you can't stay in leagues
Yeah.
that you committed to, to join.
Everyone loves a puppy, but they don't love a dog.
It's so
Yeah.
annoying. It really is.
Well said, Josh. But it made me think, like, a lot of these new teams that are coming in, they're all pretty trash. So it's like, why would you not go for it every year? Like, all right, if you're in a 10-team league and you got 2 or 3 people rotating every single year, you're already pretty much probably a top 7
You got a
team.
real good shot to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Because there's teams cycling in and out that are going to be bad
Even
every
in
year.
12-team leagues, you've got a couple teams that are cycling in. You're a top 9, top 10 team automatically. Like,
You're shuffling in 2 or 3 guys every year.
I
And
think,
those teams are always easy to trade with.
yeah. I think there's a little bit of a misnomer in Dynasty to where it's like, I need to rebuild. I kind of need to sell some assets and get younger. But it's like, I don't know, in a lot of these leagues, I've been going and being like, no, I'm going to give Keenan another shot this year. Like, no, let's see what Nick Chubb actually has.
You can patch it together pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to like totally suck for like
Khalil-
multiple years on end.
Khalil Mack was pretty freaking good last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of Khalil Mack, I want to hear the edge rusher from the rest of this list, which is probably another 9 to 10 guys, the one that you guys are most excited about dynasty-wise. And I'll go first because I was kind of peeking ahead here. For me, it's still Will McDonald. 12.1% pressure rate in 2023, just 19% of snaps. We know Bryce Huff is out the door. Yes, Hassan Reddick comes over. You still have Jermaine Johnson there. But I just think that he is set up very well to even maybe get, because is Hassan Reddick going to be there for multiple years? It kind of
right. Maybe
feels
maybe
like
2 years.
2 to 3.
a
And
1 to
also-
2 year rental.
And also remember that they have the contract incentive not to play him over like 67% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Is it a?
It changes from a
yes.
third to a second
There
if
you
he
go.
plays more than 67%. So
There
I
you go.
mean, they should probably want to keep that under that
If
percentage,
they-
which would be his lowest amount in like 4 years.
If they're winning and pushing for the playoffs, I don't think they'll give a crap what
right,
that pick is.
exactly, they're not worried about it.
But if they're 4-9 going into December or whatever,
Or if they've got it locked up a little bit,
or if Will McDonald is just straight up outplaying Hassan
that
Reddick.
could happen too.
Yeah.
Right?
And anyway, 66% is still healthy.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
still a very healthy
like
snap
you can't
percentage.
cry that much about it if you're Hassan Reddick.
No.
Right? I mean, you got Will McDonald who could be really good too.
Basically, the first 2 downs is what you're saying, or you're bringing him in for like second and third down.
Yeah,
right?
no, honestly, Will McDonald needs probably a bit of an upgrade in the ranks, just because I don't know if I'm factoring in for the fact that they got rid of JFM too. John Franklin Myers
Shipped him off to Denver. Is that right?
Yeah.
Denver.
So there is like a path where Will McDonald could surprise and get 40 to maybe 50% of the snaps. potentially.
9.66 RAS.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He is older, 25 years old, but the pressure rate plus the opportunity. Yes, they bring over Hassan Reddick, but Bryce Huff is out the door. I just don't see a world in which this guy is playing 19% of snaps.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be 70% of snaps and, oh, this is great. I think you're going to see flashes in 2024 and then 25 and 26. Basically, whenever Hassan Reddick gets out the door, I kind of see this as like, let's hold down the fort with Hassan Reddick for a year.
Yeah, it could be a year
Let
thing.
Will McDonald develop a little bit more and then unleash this guy in year 3.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Let him learn from someone else that's
Yep.
a lot more established too, like Hassan Reddick, which he hasn't really had there in New York. So yeah, I like this, man. I'm still in on Will McDonald. I'm still in on a lot of these guys. Not all these guys are going to come out the gate on fire. I looked back at some of like the guys that we know and love today, like Max Crosby. He had a 9.1% pressure rate after his first 2 years in the league. Posted a 67.3 pass rush grade in year 1 and a 58.2 pass rush grade in year 2. Jalen Phillips, 39 pressures on 402 pass rush snaps. That was just 9.7% pressure rate year 1. 61.1 pass rush grade, 53.7 overall defensive grade. Boye Mafe, he broke out last year, but he sucked as a rookie.
I remember that.
Terrible. 5.3 pressure rate as a rookie. 54.1 pass rush grade. Cameron Jordan had a 7.4% pressure rate after his first 2 years. If you want me to go back further to give you an example.
Let's go back to 2013. What you got from that year? 'Cause that was a bad year for edge
Let's
rushers.
see who was there.
Don't try to do it. You'll break
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen with the lasso.
Yeah, he was something, wasn't he?
So the thing is, I want to be optimistic and bullish about a lot of these guys, but not all of these guys are going to work out. So I do think we have to be a little bit discerning in terms of like who's in a good situation. Who do we like coming in?
Yeah.
That showed us something in year one. Bobo, I know you're big on Nick Herbig.
Yeah.
Him big. Mm-hmm. Is that your pick here as far as the guy you're most excited about?
I think it's probably a tie between him and Thule. I love Thule as well.
Thule's in a great spot.
But I mean, dear goodness, the numbers last year for Nick Hembig, 22.5 years old. He had 23 points per game, 4.6, but he did only play 17% of the snaps last year, so 191 snaps. But on those, he had 27 tackles, 5 TFLs, and 3 sacks. He had an 81 overall PFF grade, an 81.6 pass rush grade, and a pressure rate of 12.3. Now, the road to relevancy for Nick Herbig is a little bit rough because Alex Highsmith got a new contract at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, he's still got a couple more years on it, I think.
And then TJ Watt is obviously TJ Watt. So how many snaps does Nick Herbig get to in 2024?
Him and Thule are kind of in very similar situations because they're behind. They're very clearly the third banana in the pecking order of edge rushers.
Yeah.
But they're also behind guys that have had injury concerns.
Yeah.
Right? Joey Bosa, TJ Watt, both tend to get banged up, miss at least 2 or 3 games a year. And, Highsmith and Khalil Mack, I think, have been a little more consistent in terms of being on the field. But all you need is one spot to open up. I mean, Thule played 74% of snaps last year.
Yeah, because of Bosa, right?
Exactly.
So TJ Watt, he's been hurt a time or two.
Brittle bones.
Yep. And then Highsmith, you never know. Hope nothing like that happens. But I mean, that's the way this league goes. It's a violent sport. Opportunity will open up, and he could slide into a role where he's playing 70, 80% of the snaps if something like that were to happen, and he would be out of control. And also, he's cheap. Like he's probably out on waivers.
Yep.
Like in
Herbig.
most of your leagues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably Thule as well.
Thule 11,
probably
maybe.
so.
11.5% pressure rate for Thule, and Herbig was 12.3.
Thule.
So it's like when they got their opportunity, they performed really well.
Thule, 21.8 years old. I want to talk about Byron Young real quick. I don't know what to think about him moving forward. Do y'all, I'm obviously a little bit biased just because of him being a Ram. Do you think he takes a step? Do you think he just probably treads water this year?
I think he's a prime regression guy. I mean, 85% of snaps. What does that look like with Jared Verse and Michael Hoyt back in the building? I don't know. Just already being 26.2 years old. I'm not saying that I think this is the best season we're ever going to see of Byron Young, but if I have the chance to sell high right now, that's the move for me for 2024 at least.
I think that's about what he is, what we saw last year. I don't think the ceiling, I don't think, is anything that special.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not expecting – maybe he ticks up a little bit, but it's nothing that's going to be like – I don't think you're going to feel it on your teams, really.
Yeah.
You also talk about, he was an athletic freak, was able to plug right in, 9.22 RAS. I will go back to Will McDonald, 9.6 something RAS. So, and this is the position
younger.
where athleticism matters.
There's going to be
whole lot.
Little competition, too, for sacks. You got to think Jared Verse is going to stack a few in 2024 as well.
It's like the Rams finally had a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And which position did they address?
Yep.
Edge rusher.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That tells me a little bit about what they thought about Kobe Turner and Byron Young. I think the philosophy was like, let's just get better there.
Yeah.
Let's add more bodies, especially with Aaron Donald gone.
Yeah.
But, it is a question now with those two guys in the building.
What do we do with Lucas Van Ness? Just hold?
Yeah, I think bye.
Yeah.
I think so. My guy's Tyree Wilson, but
Okay.
I think Van Ness is very similar. I think both those guys, I'm still optimistic on both of those. With Tyree Wilson, I know 7.8% pressure rate on the season. But when you look a little closer, Tyree Wilson had a strong finish, 15 pressures on 121 pass rush snaps over his final 5 games. That's a 12.3% pressure rate. banged up. We know all about that. Was missed the entire offseason with injury, a foot injury. Didn't do the combine because of the foot injury. So we expected the slow start out of the gate, and that's what we got. So I think everyone was if you were being logical, I think you should have baked in the slow start with Tyree Wilson. But the guy's a freak, 6'5", 271. I know that he might be playing more inside, but I mean that could also be a good thing as well.
Where do you think he lines up when we do the RSO positional change kind of procedure next year? Do you think he maybe switches the D tackle based on alignment?
I don't think so. I mean, I think he will get some snaps inside.
Okay,
but no, I don't think he's going to be exclusively on the defensive tackle. I mean, Malcolm Kuntz and Max Crosby will probably play 100% of the snaps, but
I think Kuntz will be the second banana.
Kuntz will play like 60 to something like that percent, and so I mean they'll be 40%, 40 to 50% open on the edge, and then I imagine he'll get 10 to 20 inside potentially. We'll see. I don't know.
It is funny how many of these guys are in situations where they're the third banana.
Yeah,
like Lucas Van Ness, same situation. You have Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary there. Yeah, and so it's like same thing. He's probably going to be third in the rotation.
Yeah, it was they were drafted to places where they weren't really needed. But
I know
that's what
Miles Murphy.
Green Bay
same
loves
situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just go down the list. Is anyone not? I mean, Byron Young is probably first or second option. I would say second on this team probably. If you were like looking at the Vegas odds for the most snaps for the Rams edge rushers.
I mean, as far as like year 2 production, Byron Young's probably second on this list, right?
I was going to say Yaya Diaby, who's there. Just in terms of opportunity, like who is going to be the leader in the clubhouse to get the most snaps at edge for their team? Will Anderson probably is number one.
Yeah.
But it's like Danielle Hunter. Does Danielle Hunter get more snaps than Will Anderson? Are they about even?
I don't think so. Hunter's approaching 30.
But Yaya Diaby, like you mentioned, it's Chris Brazzers Braswell and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka who got benched for Diaby.
Yeah, I mean, he should be in 70% range, I'd say. But Byron Young is going to be back in the 70% range.
Nolan Smith, we're talking about, he's getting a lot of love going as edge 45, DL 61 in best ball right now.
So you got Sweat.
Yeah.
You got Huff there now, too.
So third banana, Miles Murphy, you got Hubbard and Hendrickson.
Yeah.
We
and
talked
maybe
about
that
McDonald.
opens up. Maybe something opens up. Maybe we've heard about Hendrickson threatening to retire.
Yeah, I'll do it. I will retire. It's like, okay, you do that, bud. But every single one of these guys, outside of Will Anderson, Byron Young, and Yaya Diaby, are all third bananas.
Yeah. And
kind of crazy.
We didn't even talk about some of the guys, right? I mean, like Derek Hall, FAU. So, I mean, there's a lot of these guys that just landed in kind of tough situations. But also, I mean, you kind of hope that they're good enough to stand out and get playing time, right?
Yeah.
So that is the thing. Like a lot of those guys I mentioned, like Max Crosby and Jalen Phillips, like sure they did struggle to start, but they at least got reps and volume. They let them work through this stuff. Whereas like if we're not seeing these guys get a significant snap share in year 2, it's just hard to.
I know. You don't have tape. How can coaches, they're seeing these guys in practice. They're not putting them on the field. Like
coordinators constantly coming in and changing. Like it's tough, if you don't stand out immediately or get an opportunity immediately.
I was thinking about that today. I don't know what I was doing. You
were mowing.
This was a driving thought. No, I wasn't mowing.
Here's pooping.
Dude, honestly, my yard needs to be mowed again. I don't know
pooping.
if
You were just mowing like 2 days ago.
I just poured at our house.
Imagine if there's a commode on the mower.
Oh my God, you never leave.
My head just blew off.
Bobby's been on the mower 6 hours. His legs are numb.
What was it? Where was I going with any of that?
Doesn't matter.
Whatever we said was better than what you were going to say.
Oh, I know what it was. So I was thinking, like, we almost need to start tracking some of these highly drafted IDPs on, like, a New York Giants team that's about to have, like, a complete, like, redo of the organization. Yeah. It's really similar to, like, Deion Henley going into, like, hey, Mr. Harbaugh, this is Deion here. Like, I don't know. There's just it's a weird world.
Harbaugh's like, who?
Yeah. It's a weird world for these guys. Like, some of these guys just get completely cast off when everybody is just shipped out.
If you don't have the draft capital, man, that's the one anchor you can count on with changing coaching staffs is these highly drafted guys
kind of
will stick around.
Kind of.
because
You get a little bit longer leash.
Yeah.
you have more opportunities
You're still on a
potentially
leash,
with
though.
other
Yeah.
teams.
You're not free range.
Like, let's just look at the snaps. Like Will Anderson, 63%. Tyree Wilson, 44%. Thule was close to the leader, 74%. Lucas Van Ness, 33%. Byron Young, I think, was number one, 85%. Yaya Diaby, 46%. Nolan Smith, 16%. Miles Murphy, 28%. Will McDonald, 19%. Nick Herbig, 17%.
Yeah, I mean, then that's like,
Not a lot to work with, folks.
and there's not, and like you're not projecting that much for these guys.
No.
Like,
Who are you counting on any of these guys outside of Will Anderson in 2024?
no,
Maybe Byron Young or
maybe.
Diaby is like a 3-4 edge.
exactly right.
Like some depth.
right.
But that's it, man. It's funny because we had 7 first-round edge rushers, and outside of Will Anderson, we're like, I don't know, man.
I'm counting on Thule. Bose is getting hurt. Ain't no way.
Yeah, probably so.
It's like you might as well roll the dice on Herbig or Thule and just bank on a TJ Watt and
yeah.
Joey Bosa injury. Those are high upside, I think, potential edge rushing
Herbig
handcuffs.
especially though, just
Yeah.
because like he really could go nuts. I really do like his game.
He's crazy.
He's fun.
3 sacks on 17% playing time last year is pretty awesome.
He's just like a guy that's gonna work out there, you know.
Yeah.
You just know. You can feel like Nick Herbig feels like
course.
the next great Steelers edge rusher, right?
Yeah. Even TJ Watt he was like late first, I believe, drafted.
I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
JJ Watt's brother, and
Like, no, this guy's amazing.
yeah, that's right. Like he's every bit to the Nick Bosa versus Joey Bosa, right?
If we're gonna take this guy, Alex Highsmith, no one knows who he is. If we're gonna take him in the 3rd round, he's also gonna be really good. We're gonna have to pay him $70 million. in 2
Exactly.
years.
Herbig's going to be due a $70 million contract here in a couple
Yeah,
years,
probably so.
probably.
Gosh, they don't miss on wide receivers or defensive ends, it seems like.
Important positions too. So
Yeah.
Yes. So let's move on to DB, though, because this is the position, I think, defensive tackles, 2 thumbs up. Edge rushers, the shrug emoji. No idea. No idea, really. We'll see. To be determined. DB, we got 2 standout IDPs from this class. And then we mentioned there's just one linebacker we're going to talk about.
I'm not even talking.
and
This
it's
is
not-
Addy special here.
Yeah, this is we're going to just give you the solo cam, Addy, once I run through these.
I'm going outside.
We've got, it looks like 4 guys here on the list, and we're kicking things off with your DB3 in your ranks. It is Brian Branch, Detroit Lions, 13.3 points per game in 2023, played 77% of snaps, currently going as the DB3. And then Devon Witherspoon, Seattle Seahawks, DB5. He is your CB1, 16.2 points per game. Did have a 60-point game in there, so keep that in mind. Played 91% of snaps, going as the DB4, CB1 in best ball drafts right now. Joey Porter Jr., speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, DB39, CB10 for you. He had, looks like 5.7 points per game, 72% of snaps, currently going as the CB34. And then Chicago Bears, Tyreek Stevenson, your DB47, CB15, 12.8 points per game in 2023, playing 82% of snaps, going as DB35, CB10. Addy, I'm just going to give you the solo cam. Speak on it, hon.
Witherspoon.
Right?
He's him.
Yep.
He's him. I mean, 23 and a half years of age, 16.2 points per game, like you mentioned last season as a rookie. That is absurd. The PFF grades are great. 84.1 overall PFF grade, 79.7 coverage grade, tackles, 79 tackles last season, 8 TFLs, 1 INT, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 defensive touchdown, 16 PDs.
4 quarterback hits.
4 QB hits, 97 return
Let's
yards.
just throw that in there, too.
Yeah, I mean, the guy just stuffs the stat sheet. He was looking at Big 3 scoring. There were 4 defensive backs that had at least 5 games with over 20 fantasy points. Antoine Winfield had 6.
Of course he did.
Jesse Bates, Deron Bland, Witherspoon all had 5.
Wow.
He's awesome, man. And now,
Anytime you're in the same category as Antoine Winfield Jr. from last year,
right,
that's
Antoine,
incredible.
who had a insane all-time season. Also, the guy you're tied with had what? How many pick sixes and interceptions?
exactly. Jesse Bates, I think had 6 picks.
And then Bland as well.
Yeah,
Bland led the league in interceptions.
Yes,
right?
I think he broke the record for pick sixes.
Yeah, and
I think
housed
he had,
a couple.
He had
right.
I think Bland had 5 or 6 pick sixes.
But out of that group, outside of Winfield, of course, like
Pick sixes? He
Yes.
scored all 6 of them?
Deron Bland broke the record for pick sixes.
yeah, he was.
I remember watching that game.
Like they were getting like some DPOY buzz for him.
Oh, wow.
It was nuts, bro.
Yeah, he was nuts. It is weird that Dallas has had Bland and then they had Diggs do the
Trayvon
same
Diggs,
thing
yeah.
recently.
all that pressure.
Yeah.
Micah.
So he had 5 pick sixes last year. It was a single season record.
That is nuts.
Think about that. What is that? An interception is 6, right? Mm-hmm. Plus a touchdown is 12.
Plus the yardage and big 3 scoring.
Plus the yardage and big 3 scoring. So you have a baseline of 12.
And I think you get a PD for an interception as well.
which
say
is what,
22.
3, 4?
4 and big 3 scoring.
So that's 16 points just
without the yardage.
times 5. 16 times 5. What is that? 90
Yeah.
or 80?
Almost 100 points.
It's a lot. It's a lot, folks.
It's a lot of points.
Because
just
they will
off
they will
those-
call us out in the comments.
Yes.
I do need to apologize for the Taysom Hill. I
had
don't
a
know
lot-
where that conjured up in the old brain.
We don't know where that came from.
I love giving you the gratification of like, absolutely he did that. That
I know
happened.
everyone agree with me.
Yeah.
Let me keep going. So
Yeah,
But
what,
yeah,
what did we
did not
say?
happen. I apologize for
16
that.
times 5, that's 80 points just off those pick sixes.
yeah, it's nuts.
Absolutely crazy.
That's
Plus the
nuts.
yardage. That's just the baseline.
Yeah. But, I mean, back to Witherspoon. I mean, now he gets Mike McDonald there. Like, what does his role look like? Are they going to use him like he used Kyle Hamilton? You know, is he going to get even more snaps in the slot in the box, you know, on the line of scrimmage, et cetera? So, I mean, I think he's going to be a fun piece for McDonald. So,
The spicy take from this might be that Witherspoon could be the overall dynasty DB1. That is spicy. But you think about defensive coordinator upgrade, big play potential. I mean, y'all, he might be the best cornerback in the NFL right out the gate year 1.
yeah.
I mean, just look at the grades, look at the production, look at the playing time.
And the usage is going to be perfect. Like, he is going to be he is like a souped up, perfect slot corner. Like, we talk about slot corners all the time. This is the dude right here.
I think people would be scared to say you can't put a cornerback as DB1.
People will not like this at all.
No, 23.5 years old though, got 91% of snaps. You got Mike McDonald coming over.
Yeah, it's
I
more
don't know,
about
man.
it's more about the player than just. I know he's a corner, but he does a lot. Like, again, we read
60-point game.
and we read through all those stats. Like, it's the 79 tackles, 16 PDs. Like, the dude makes plays. In a league like Big 3 scoring, you know, where there's Big 3 scoring, like he's going to score really well because we reward players that are actually good.
That are playmakers.
Witherspoon is actually good, and he makes plays all the time.
But let's give Brian Branch his flowers as well. I mean, we
Awesome.
talked about, you know, defensive tackle. We get just some studs right out the gate. I feel the same way. I mean, Brian Branch is your DB3 in your ranks, and Witherspoon is DB5.
Yeah.
So you're a big Brian Branch boy as well.
Yeah, I guess actually he is. He's a slot corner too, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
even though like he's listed as safety in most leagues, I mean he basically exclusively played out of the slot, but he's awesome. He fits what Detroit is doing perfectly. He's a great player, man. I've said it a lot that he reminds me of Budda Baker, just the type of guy he is. Not afraid to get in there and you know make plays, get in the backfield, just constantly making plays. Every Detroit game I watched, like anytime they'd always line him up on usually their best playmakers, but the dude was always giving them a hard time, whoever he was lined up against. So
Yeah.
you love to see that immediately from Brian Branch. Was drafted there in the 2nd round. So I mean I'd feel great about him as far as security, all that stuff. He's going to get a massive deal once his rookie deal's up.
Yeah, I was going to say PFF and the Best Ball ADP have Branch listed as a cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be safety 4 in Best Ball ADP if he was listed as a safety. But he's currently CB3 right now. Especially as a CB, I like Branch a
Yeah,
lot.
if he's listed as a CB, he's worth probably taking that high.
I agree.
You know, if you're in a league where it's all the positions are split out,
Sleeper, it doesn't matter
Sleeper
as
doesn't
much
matter.
because it's just DB.
right? So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not spinning up. Like I don't have a lot of. I think I did draft Brian Branch in a league. Like,
I've got
where
him in a couple.
He slid to like the 11th round
Mm-hmm.
or something. I'll take him there.
Yep.
You know?
Bobo?
It's going to be interesting to see Detroit's defensive backs this year.
Because they did bring in the
Terrion Arnold
yeah.
and Ennis Rakestraw.
and they traded for Who did
They
they
got
trade for?
Carlton Davis. coming
Carlton
in, too.
Davis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gosh, that Detroit defense.
They did lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, though.
They
But,
did.
but now you have the resurgence. I definitely said that wrong.
Put a Z in there.
The late season resurgence of not even resurgence. That's probably the wrong word.
No, we got to stick with it now.
What can we do here? I don't know.
Certainly can't cut it.
No. Absolutely not.
Fetty Melifonwu definitely, lit it
Yeah.
up late towards the season. And I got to thinking, I was like, I wonder if that affected Branch at all. It definitely didn't affect Branch at all.
There
like,
are
he
a
was
lot
still
of people in
on
that
fire.
defensive backfield because you also
Oh,
have
yeah.
Kirby Joseph, Tracy Walker's gone,
Kirby
and
Joseph is-
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson are
Kirby
gone.
Joseph is terrible.
But there's
not
a
a fan.
lot of people there now, man.
I don't think Kirby's good.
Fetty Melifonwu,
he's
Brian
whatever.
Branch,
He falls on people
Carlton
once they're
Davis,
already
Terrion
tackled.
Arnold.
But he's going to get snaps, don't you think?
Oh yeah, he's gonna play.
Did they bring in Rakestraw as well, you said?
Yes.
Man, that is a lot of folks there.
Yeah.
It's a really good defensive backfield.
They lost. They have Cam Sutton, I think, that they lost, though. So they've lost some guys. They have lost some guys.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't bank too much on the. I mean, Arnold's going to be fine.
Yeah,
But Rakestraw might.
he's okay.
He might take a second.
Yeah, I saw
For
some,
next year, anyway.
I saw some Senior Bowl stuff with him lined up against some good receivers, and it was like, okay, I see why you slipped a little bit.
Anyway, I mean, I don't think none of those guys are going to affect Brian Branch.
No, you're
They don't
exactly
matter.
right.
He's
Brian
clearly
Branch is
the
a-
best player
Yeah.
in the bunch.
He's a playmaker.
Yep.
He makes. That's what he does. He makes plays. That's why they took him in the second round. That's why they gave him immediate playing time. That's why he produced him.
Are you sure that if somebody came to you and they're like, Adam, I'm interested in acquiring Brian Branch, I want to trade you Witherspoon for him?
If they were given, so I'm getting.
You're getting
Witherspoon.
I mean, yeah, it's going to depend on how they're labeled. I think.
No, it don't depend on anything. Just tell me your answer.
I think I'd rather have Branch.
I think I would too.
Wow.
Yep.
Nah, give me Witherspoon.
But also, I'm thinking about market value because I think everyone shares the thought that cornerbacks you should never overpay for them. You should never plant your flag on them because they change so much. Right?
Disagree.
That's how most people think.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
okay.
So
I got
the
you.
market
I got
value.
you.
I'm talking about like with people thinking like that, it's going to leave it less trades are going to be open for me.
I gotcha.
I'm not going to be able to. I got to make sure that he no doubt hits.
Okay.
Because I'm probably going to be locked with him.
Okay.
Because
I got
people
you.
aren't going to view him the way that I do.
I got you.
But I think that trade is definitely there to make if you want to make it. If you believe in Witherspoon like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
We also don't quite know what Branch's role is going to be. I think it's fair to say, yeah, we think slot corner.
Yeah.
That's why he's listed as a slot corner everywhere or as a CB.
And
But
there's
let's just see that because
Yeah.
they've literally added so many guys.
Yeah, there's a whole lot less
Let's-
ambiguity with Witherspoon.
Yeah, we know what Witherspoon's going to be.
No more Jamal. Who do they have?
Quandre
Julian
Diggs is
Love?
gone. They brought in Julian Love.
The edge plays better too. He got you like you remember like he didn't even get to play with Uchenna last year.
Yeah.
So I mean now you got edge play. You got Derek
Talk
Hall year
about a
2.
post-hype sleeper, Uchenna Nwosu.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a great value in these best ball drafts.
Yep. Byron Murphy's there now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
going to be good, man.
They're going to be very
Didn't
good.
they bring somebody
I'm
else
excited
in
about that
inside?
team.
Dexter.
They re-signed
They re-signed Leonard,
Leonard
Williams.
Leonard.
Jerron Reed is still there.
Oh,
They're
that's right.
good.
That's right.
They've also I saw where they are switching Jermont Jones to edge,
Really?
which is just like we don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
It's
what we
kind of like
thought.
Nikhil Harry going to tight end.
Yeah.
It's like someone I feel like it was Levitan or somebody said this is the equivalent of putting the kid in right field
Yeah.
in Little
Yeah.
League. It's like we don't know. We got to hide this guy.
What is
Don't really know what to do here.
Have you heard anything about the linebackers there in Seattle? Like who's going to play?
I haven't been keeping up. I mean, I think it's going to be Dodson and Baker though.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think so,
trusting
too.
Tyrese Knight year
Yeah.
one.
Not
I
year
like
one.
Knight.
Yeah.
I like a lot of these rookies as succession plans, just not year one.
Drum
Unless
Baker.
somebody gets
Wallace
hurt.
as well.
Jerome Baker could be a nice little value
Cedric
this
Gray.
year.
Yeah, man.
He could
I had
be-
a tweet about that like in March. Like as soon
Who
as
was
it
this?
happened, Jerome Baker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
going to be great. He's slept on.
Speaking of slept on, the segues. I'm killing it tonight, guys.
You are.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Out of the park.
Did not realize Stevenson was this good year one.
Oh yeah, he went on the list originally, and our boy Arn asked Adam, "How's the list looking?" I'm like, let's add Tyreek Stevenson to it
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's been awesome.
CB 15 for you in the dynasty ranks, going as CB 10 right now. 16 games played, 16 started, 82% of snaps, 12.8 points per game. This is a guy I think that could be. There's a very short list for me, at least, of cornerbacks that I will just plan to roster the entire year. you know, because for the most part, I tend to play the matchups and do the streaming game. But there's probably 6, 7, maybe 8 cornerbacks. If you look at like Witherspoon, if Branch is labeled as a CB, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, you could throw in there. Kenny Moore maybe could be in there, but Tyreek Stevenson should absolutely be on this list as well.
Yep. Yeah. What do I have him in the best ball ranks? What did it say?
You have him as CB 15 in your dynasty ranks. He's going as CB 10 right now.
I definitely have him high in the best ball ranks. We're ahead of market on Tyreek Stevenson, no doubt about it. Dude crushed it last year, especially second half. 9.2 points per game, weeks 1 through 9. 17.3 weeks 10 through 18. So he was a real difference maker down the stretch for you. This will be a second year, of course. This is what this episode is about.
This will be a second year. You have him as CB 8 in your best ball rankings. So he is actually a little bit of a value because he's going as CB 10 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because people aren't hip to him, right? So, no. I mean, he's one of those guys. Also, it's like we're taking Tyreek Stevens, we're taking him late in these drafts. Like, we're not having to spend up.
You have him as DB 26 because you also have the sleeper ranks in the best ball rankings, which makes sense since these are on sleeper, but he's going as DB 35. So he is a very nice value, folks. If you're in these best ball drafts or just drafting in general, Tyreek Stevenson for your cornerback position.
Oh, they know. They're in the ranks. They're all aware.
I'm just talking to the folks maybe who are like Andrew Preston and Eric Harms aren't living in the ranks 24/7. So, and then Joey Porter Jr. What made you want to include him here, Addy?
Similar thought. Just I've heard that he's beefed up. He's gonna get a much more expanded role in year 2. They drafted him in the second round.
He had the quote too, right? That kind of put him back on the radar of like, I'm the best cornerback in the league, and Brett Coleman was like,
I didn't see that.
I think he was the one, right, where Brett Coleman was like, no matter what player it is, these cornerbacks think they can fight God. Okay. I'm pretty sure that was Joey Porter Jr.
Probably so. Yeah, that makes sense.
So he was saying like, I'm the best cornerback in the league. Like nobody's better than me. Like,
yeah, I mean that sounds like
I love that mentality.
It sounds like Joey Porter's offspring.
I was gonna say.
So yeah, it's also a lot of that, I mean, I remember the comp. Somebody, I think it was Daniel Kelly, who coming out, he comped Joey Porter Jr. to Joey Porter if he was a cornerback.
That's amazing because that is 100% accurate.
So I like that. I love betting on these second year corners. If you think back to like last year, like Cam Taylor Britt, Alontae Taylor was a guy that I was betting on. A lot of those guys ended up breaking out. DJ Turner, another guy that's not on this list that I'm high on for year 2. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we do some more splits? Because the splits, which are in the dynasty ranks, folks, if you're a paid supporter at the IDPshow.com.
In the best ball ranks.
In the best ball ranks.
Yes.
Can you look up Will Anderson's splits? I was curious how he finished the season because in my mind, he was really strong down the stretch.
He definitely was.
9.6 points per game, weeks 1 through 9, 13.6 weeks.
So better. 18. He was definitely better. Yeah, and then I don't think the rest of these guys really. What was Byron Young's? I'm curious. Do you have Byron Young's splits in there? Let's see what his was, because I feel like maybe he faded down the stretch.
He did. 12.5 points per game, weeks 1 through 9, 8.9 weeks 10 through 18.
There you go. What about Yaya Diaby? Do we have Diaby in there? I'm curious.
Got them all in here, baby.
I want guys that finish the year strong. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, had a nice finish. 3.1 weeks 1 through 9, 13.4 10 through 18.
Because he took over the role in week 9, I believe it was, from Joe Tryon Shoyinka.
Right, yeah.
Is that right, Bobo?
No.
Started playing like 30%.
Yeah, he really jumped up to 66% snap in week 12.
12, okay.
But yeah, good God, that finish for Yaya was crazy.
Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. What do you?
Nolan Smith didn't get the playing time.
No, there's no one else whose splits I think really warrant looking at because nobody else really got the playing time. Thule, what did Thule's look like? I feel like he faded maybe down the stretch. Started off hot.
11 points per game, weeks 1 through 9, 6.5 weeks 10 through 18.
Not great. Bobo, pull up Devon Witherspoon's actual big game performance. I've been saying 60. It may have been like 53 points from that explosive game.
Big 3 scoring. That was week 4. He had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 INT, 1 touchdown, 57.35 points.
57 points.
Y'all,
That's
his log
nuts.
is crazy in Big 3 scoring. So week 1, I guess he didn't play.
With
but
him
then-
Spoon?
Yes, with him Spoon.
Only 2 games under 5 points.
Yes.
Wow. For a cornerback, y'all.
Listen to these big games. 20.2, 57, 17, 9, and then 2. But then 10, 21, 23, 12, 12. Finished the season off week 18 with 20.7.
Wow.
That was an 11 tackle game. He had 2 11 tackle games last season
Incredible.
as a corner.
I mentioned DJ Turner. Turner averaged 3.4 points per game weeks 1 through 9, 8.6 points per game weeks 10 through 18. Turner
that.
was their 2nd round pick last season. He plays for Cincinnati, if you're not aware, so they just lost Awuzie. So, I mean, you can plan on him having a bigger role in year 2. Christian Gonzalez, someone we didn't mention. I mean, was looking like he was going to be really good before he went out. He went out early, but
What was his injury? It wasn't super
it was
serious.
torn, it was torn ACL.
Torn ACL. Okay.
Yep.
So hopefully he can recover because he was their like first round pick, like 19th overall or something
Yeah, he was
like
high,
that.
yeah.
Kind
But
of
he
like
was
middle to
good.
late first round.
He was good. I don't know how good it'll be for fantasy, but I mean, he showed signs.
We bring the cornerbacks up because they will probably be more relevant than just about anybody else on this list because they're all in streaming consideration.
Pull up Kobe.
Actually, Gonzalez probably was going to be really relevant because he got hurt week 4. First game he put up 22.5 points. Week 2, 17.5 points. Week 3, 7.25, and then he tore his ACL. Week 4.
Wow, that's a hell of a start for Gonzalez. I
Really,
forgot he
really
started that
good.
hot. So,
Kobe Turner.
Yeah.
Kobe Turner. What do we got?
Split wise, 7.3 weeks 1 through 9, and then 10 through 18 was 13.5.
Okay,
Yeah.
so finish the season much better. Love to see it. All right, boys. Well, let's wrap up here with everyone's favorite position, linebacker, and we've only got one on the list because Drew Sanders unfortunately tore the Achilles. I think it was right.
Yeah, 4-1 out for him.
Sean
we
Payton thinks he's going to be back by Halloween.
No,
Sean Payton
that's-
is on drugs.
It's not
He
happening.
was an
But it's-
edge anyway.
Absolutely not happening.
We'll have to talk about Henley and Trent Simpson for a
Simpson.
second here.
But
Both those guys are in good spots, I think.
I think so too. I'm a little bit gun shy. It was funny. Mike has Trenton Simpson as both a breakout and a fade in the draft kit because it's like I really do think he has this breakout potential, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay the price for him to find out.
That's true because he's like what going like linebacker 30,
28, I think, when I last updated it.
So that's a lot. Just because I mean that's probably higher than like Jordan Hicks, Kaiser White, like guys that are really really good
much
and
higher.
are going to be averaging 13, 14 points per game.
Let's pull up the ADP here because I was going to say I would be very curious where I think Macri actually plans on or thinks it's going to be Malik Harrison to start the season, and he's going as LB 90. So if you're wrong on that and you're paying LB 27 prices for Trenton Simpson,
It's going to sting.
here's the thing: if you're going to take Trenton Simpson in these best ball drafts, take Malik Harrison at the end of your draft just to be safe.
Yeah, because
They
he's
like,
free.
They like Malik Harrison there.
Yes, they do. They brought him back.
Yeah.
And he's the veteran. So it's like, I'm kind of the mind where it's like, I'm not penciling in any of these like heir apparent guys if there's a capable veteran on the roster, especially someone that the team brought back.
Yeah, and also like hold on to him. Like don't just because maybe Trent Simpson starts the year doesn't mean he's going to finish the year.
Yep.
You know, if he struggles and is a weak spot, they'll get him out of there.
Yeah. Who are we talking about? Simpson was, you were
Malik
talking about
Harrison.
Kaiser White is going as LB 35.
You can
Jordan
just probably
Hicks,
list all of them. I'd love probably like all of them after this.
LB 43. Let's look
yeah.
at LB and then, after Simpson, you've got Josie Jewell,
Yep.
Troy Anderson,
No,
question mark, Jack Campbell, who we're going to talk about,
probably.
Blake Cashman,
Yes.
Alex Anzalone,
Yes.
Eric Kendricks,
Yes.
Caden Ellis, who's getting a lot of buzz,
Yes.
Kaiser White,
Yes.
EJ Speed,
Yes.
Junior Colson.
Nah, probably not.
It's debatable. Ivan
Colson
Pace,
and Trent Simpson are pretty similar.
I think so too. Ivan Pace, probably have Ivan Pace.
I'd probably
We've,
like
we've seen
Pace.
Ivan Pace play.
Yeah, I take pace.
Matt Milano, I don't know. We'll see.
I may roll the dice on Simpson.
N'Kobe Dean,
Nope.
No.
Demario Davis,
Demario Davis.
Jermaine Pratt,
I'll take Simpson.
Here's a beautiful little stretch here. Jordan Hicks and Kenneth Murray. Smash that all day, bro.
That's why, man, you got to make sure you hammer linebackers in those mid rounds for a little bit at least, because the values are just great.
Where's Devondre right now?
Devondre Campbell?
Yes.
LB 55. Jamin Davis is down at 58. That's a great handcuff. I don't think it's a stupid move to draft Jamin Davis late, because if either Bobby Wagner, who's older, gets hurt,
I think Devondre Campbell's washed, and he's a head
so?
case. Yes, he's a head case too.
I got you.
I already saw where he had to do the thing. It didn't end well in Green Bay. That was apparent with all the tweets that Devondre Campbell put out last season. But I've already seen the thing where he's taking the shot at Green Bay, he's just so much rejuvenated there.
Yeah. You got to talk yourself into it.
Yeah,
we get it, Campbell. Just say less.
Yeah, just stop talking, bro. You're way past your prime.
That's enough.
Just be quiet. No one cares about
had a good
your opinion
career.
on anything, dude.
You got paid. Just be thankful that you have. I mean, you're going to be starting the season probably as the LB2. You're probably going to be in the Dre Greenlaw role, if I had to guess.
As soon as Greenlaw's ready,
You out. Cash out. If you got Campbell and he's still worth a crap, be ready to sell end of September if he's playing well.
Yeah.
you
2
got-
weeks in.
Dre Greenlaw's coming.
He gone.
Deion Henley's sitting at LB 57 right now. So you have the market perception, at least in terms of how the public views these guys, is 30 LB spots different.
Where's Perryman at?
So Perryman,
Although-
he's LB 60.
We'll need some time with these to kind of shake out. I'll be interested to see how the drafts go this next month. Now that we know everything that we know, now that we know that there's Colson, there's Henley, and
The market
Perryman.
likes Colson the best, but
it'll be Colson is LB1.
Oh
there.
yeah,
It
for
is.
Sure.
It is pretty close here because Colson is, where did he go? He's on here as LB 37. So the market likes Colson
Yeah.
very far and away the best of these Chargers linebackers. Then they like Henley. Then they like Perryman. So
And I think Henley's only out there because they liked Henley.
Yeah,
They don't like
exactly.
Henley anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, it was what is LA going to do? Because before free agency, when we were starting these drafts, it was Deion Henley and nobody else because Perryman hadn't signed there yet. And they hadn't drafted Colson.
Henley is a dynasty buy, though. Everyone's out on him now.
That's when you get back in.
He's young.
What would he cost you?
Nothing.
A fifth?
He'll probably be dropped here pretty soon. If
Yep.
he's
Just wait. Watch the
for him.
waivers.
Yeah, he'll be dropped mid-season.
Okay, so just stash Henley just to see what happens.
Yeah,
Simpson, I think, is price is getting a little rich for me, and I think it's going to go well. But I'm like Mike. I'm not wanting to pay the price to find out. Right now.
I hear that. I understand that.
That last week of the season, I had it.
But he could be a smash. I mean, you could look up and you've got a
Absolutely.
top 15 dynasty linebacker after the
out of
season.
the gate he could just ball.
Yep.
For sure.
So it's a gamble.
42% of snaps in week 18, 5 tackles, a sack, big 3 scoring. He had 21 points.
He did crush it, and he only played how many? 54% of the snaps. right?
42,
What was the points?
Wow.
21.
Wow, that's nice. So yeah,
That's
it
fresh in
could
everybody's
be
mind.
it could be very, very nice.
It could be an old man or
Yeah.
woman filled with regret immediately.
Yes. So let's have the Jack Campbell
regret.
conversation, though. You're canceled. Let's have the Jack Campbell conversation. I'm just looking at the 998 RAS, but then right below that is 7.7 points per game, 59% of snaps, 12 games started, 17 games played.
That needs to be the new bet we go off of. Do they outscore points per game their ass?
Yeah, that's it. If you're not outscoring your RAS, that's not good.
We don't want you.
Yeah, we don't want you. Let's have the Jack Campbell conversation, though. Going as LB 30 right now in these best ball drafts. Finished as the LB 57 last year. Again, 7.7 points per game. 52.1 overall defensive grade. Run defense was his best grade, 75.8. He was a 35.3 in coverage. I'm just going to ask the question. Are we sure Jack Campbell is good?
We're not sure anyone's good.
Yeah. I'm
Linebacker wise.
I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like,
Yeah.
boy, I'm still very optimistic about Jack Campbell, but the first year was not great.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm still fine. His first year is not great for a lot of these guys,
Yep.
especially linebacker. That is the hardest position on defense to play, I think, in this day and age. They're just asked to do so much. It really is. It's tough to find someone that's elite at that position. So yeah, I'm willing to give Campbell some grace. Also, like, I don't think he's going to play less than 59% of the snaps next season. I don't see.
He at least got some run.
Yeah, he
you
got
could
some
say
run.
that. Like Simpson did not see any run. Henley was
Didn't get anything.
anything at all.
They played Nick Neiman over him.
Drew
Nyman.
Sanders, I don't think got anything.
He didn't. They switched his position.
So you at
towards
least,
Achilles.
as frustrating as it was, because it felt like
It was
Campbell
Ivan
was.
Pace.
Yeah, it was Ivan Pace
Ivan
was
Pace
the number
is,
one linebacker.
Ivan Pace is the LB1 right now, I think, as far as like market value goes.
Yep.
Everyone likes. People are scared of Campbell. I think no one's really going out of their way to buy Campbell.
So Campbell, yeah, is LB 30. Pace is a little lower. He's LB 38.
If you drafted Campbell, you're kind of stuck with him because you probably spent hopefully you didn't spend a late first on him, but that I saw that happen a decent amount.
Yeah.
That's what Aaron and them were talking about on the Battle Royale episode. He's like, I've got a lot of Jack Campbell. He's like, I want a second, but no one's giving me more than a third. You're just kind of stuck.
You're stuck with him,
You know?
but I don't think that's a player that's that's bad to be stuck with. I think that he still has a ton of upside. I like his situation there, man. I think it will clear out. Again, it's Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone.
Do you think maybe it's 2026 or 2025, though?
I think
when
so.
we're kind of seeing the ascension.
Josh
Do you think it's 2029 when he finally sees the field? I don't know what year it is, guys. I've got two kids.
Getting late, yeah, it's 11.
Yeah.
People need to remember that, guys. We do this pod very late. We all have kids. We're all worn out.
I'm ready to go to bed at 9 p.m. It is almost midnight here.
We will say some wrong shit occasionally.
Yeah, we do say a lot of words every, an hour and a half podcast every week. We're gonna get some stuff wrong.
And we're not editing the hell out of this. You watch a lot of these videos and it's just cut after cut after cut after cut. We're not doing that.
I'm
We
only
don't have
cutting.
the time.
I'm only cutting my bad stuff. out.
Exactly.
That's it. Anytime I misspeak,
You go record yourself for an hour and a half. See how you do.
not good because we have a lot of stuff that I wish I had time to cut out, but I gotta go edit this afterwards and post it.
You
And
go.
I don't want him to. I don't care. I don't care. I'll just live with it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Don't care.
Freaking Taysom Hill's a Bronco for all we care.
We were just
He
convinced.
was.
I was
He
like,
was
oh,
for a
really?
day.
Yeah.
He was for a day in my
for
mind.
one day.
Yeah.
You guys ruined it.
Ruined it. Okay, so Jack Campbell, are there linebackers from this 2023 class that you are counting on in 2024?
Not really.
The answer for me is no, because even Ivan Pace,
Right. Blake Cashman.
Blake Cashman,
Forrest
Jack
notorious
Campbell, Anzalone.
Right, yeah, and Derek Barnes too got way too many snaps last season.
I know.
I think
It's like-
he was. I think Campbell was third in snaps. I'm pretty sure.
I think he was.
I'm pretty sure Barnes had like 60%.
So yeah, Anzalone is going behind Jack Campbell right now.
That's stupid.
That's malpractice, guys.
That's dumb.
The Lions have told you what they think of this Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone situation, and you've got it backwards.
And also, like, what else do you need to see from Anzalone? Like, the dude has done it for 2 years now in Detroit. Like, ever since he got there, they've told you, yeah, we like this guy. We're going to continue to play him.
Does the public actually hate long hair?
Might be.
And we just love it in this shed because we're Kentucky boys and mullets
right.
are the kind of
Does
official
something for us,
haircut
yep.
of our state.
Kentucky waterfall.
It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, Bobo, I'm still optimistic
Simmer on that for a
about.
second.
I'm still optimistic about Jack
think.
Campbell, but you may have to be patient because I'm not banking on any of these guys. Don't want Simpson at that cost. Don't want Campbell at that cost. Don't want Ivan Pace at that cost. Drew Sanders is gone now. Henley, we'll see.
Yeah, but in Dino for Jack Campbell, I think you could look up midseason and be like, wow, I'm glad I held on to him.
Hell yeah.
You know?
You could. I don't know if you will.
But if you can acquire that for like
Second.
a sec, I mean, I don't.
I'm not paying a second for him. And the
Third.
You can
manager
get him
is
for a third on the clock. You can get him for a third. The thing is, if you got to make sure like someone good's not there.
Well, we said these edge rushers are primarily going second round.
No one's trading a third at that point.
But would you if you're on the clock and Junior Colson is there,
That's a good one,
or you can swap it out for Jack Campbell? Which one
Yeah.
would you rather do?
man. That is tough. I
Junior
feel like
Colson.
Colson is.
If I'm putting
the hot-
$100 down, you think Jack Campbell or Junior Colson plays a higher percentage of snap, assuming both are healthy in 2024? I'm putting my money down on Colson. I don't care what Harbaugh says about, oh, he's not going to wear the green dot, year one. Yes, he is. Stop it.
Man, that's really close.
I think they're. Yeah, I don't know. I think Campbell plays at least 59%, no doubt. But does he play more than 70%?
Dynasty-wise, I still want Jack Campbell more, but for 2024, I want Junior Colson more.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to play more, man.
I don't know that I want either one of them for.
I'm not banking on
next
them,
year.
but I'm just saying
Their
if
ADPs are too high, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Campbell's 30, and
the Colson's 37.
so I don't want either one of them.
Yeah,
I want the
it's
vets.
because look at there's so much uncertainty around both of these guys, and look at the certainty you have like further back. You've got Jordan Hicks, you've got Kenneth Murray.
Yep.
A little further down, even you've got Jerome Baker. We mentioned. You've got Divine Diablo. You've got Nate Landman. You talked about Nate Landman. You've got Denzel Perryman. So Tyrell Dotson is sitting still as LB67 right
Yeah,
now.
Jerome Baker's not too far behind him.
Yeah, so
Jack Gibbons is wearing the dot. Like, there's tons of value
Yeah.
late. Tons.
yeah, so I just don't think I want to. When it comes to linebacker in these drafts, I'm not going to overpay when there's ambiguity. I'd much rather just wait and take the more certain situations.
And with Jack Campbell, like, we haven't seen him be that productive yet. Like, he's not like someone that when he did get a game, I think, where he played like 100% of the snaps,
And it was-
and it wasn't anything great.
Yep,
right?
it was fine.
It wasn't like the guy was racking up tackles, getting TFLs.
That coverage grade just worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's 35.3 is pretty rotten. I know linebackers, their heads can be spinning a little bit. Year one,
In Dynasty, you want Jack Campbell or Adrian Cooper?
Campbell.
I'm still bullish on his long-term outlook. I think we're vastly, as a public, overestimating his 2024 impact.
And also with the coverage grade stuff, like they grade bad all the time. Rookies do at linebacker. Like Patrick Queen's coming to mind right now, and he just turned out fine for him.
Christian Harris was pretty bad
Harris,
as well.
Exactly.
It can get better,
Devon
but
White.
it's not what you want to
Sometimes
see.
it doesn't get better, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the worry.
So we'll see. I think
Even like Kenneth
think
Murray, I think Kenneth Murray maybe ticked up a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong there. Anyway, we see that a lot. It's
it's a very hard position to
tough
learn.
position,
especially when you're
gonna grade
tossed in
bad.
like 60% of snaps, just about.
Yeah,
So
Campbell or Chop Robinson?
Campbell.
yeah, probably Campbell.
But all the big three this year ahead of Campbell.
Oh,
Yes, 100%.
yeah.
There's
Europe, and then when you start talking about Colson, that's where I think Colson is 4 for me in the ranks, in the IDP only ranks. So I mean, that's where I think you start to think.
I think Campbell's ahead of every other linebacker, probably aside from Colson. Colson and Campbell's a very fun discussion. I probably still have Campbell ahead for Dynasty, but for 2024, if I have to bank on one of those two guys,
All
I'll
right.
take Colson.
If Colson comes out week 1 playing 100% of snaps, is it automatically? And Campbell's like in a 75% role.
it
Do you
probably automatically
yeah.
flips. Yeah, it probably does.
What about in Dino, Campbell or Peyton Wilson?
Campbell. Peyton Wilson not getting the draft capital, and also the
I know. The ACLs.
the landing
He's
spot.
old as hell.
You're there with Queen.
You got to say Campbell, but you kind of want to think about it for a minute.
If Wilson would have landed somewhere good,
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would have.
If he had landed in Seattle, we talked about that.
Yeah,
That would have been so nice.
yeah, just somewhere with a clear path. And
The medical stuff must be an issue. It must have kind of had teams concerned.
that's the only reason you saw him go after Trevin Wallace. I think.
Oh, if he was like an average athlete, I don't think he gets drafted.
No.
I mean, the fact he blew the doors off the combine, I think saved him from having, one
Yeah.
functioning ACL?
Would have been Ivan Pace otherwise.
So, well, there you go, folks. Outlook for second year IDPs. We love this episode every year. I think the big takeaway for me, don't expect a lot of these guys in 2024. Offensively, I think it's easier for these guys to get up to speed and be contributors a little more quickly. At least for the guys that came in 2023, we're going to have to take a wait-and-see approach for a lot of these guys, especially those edge rushers.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Fresh off this 2024 class, it's just you got to be patient. Sometimes these guys take a little bit longer than others. Some classes as a whole are just not as good, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how
This class kind of feels that
looking
way.
back on this class is kind of how it feels. And there's a lot of guys we didn't even mention tonight. Like we didn't mention Isaiah Foskey. We didn't mention Jordan Battle.
Brian Brissy.
Right. So I actually like Brian Brissy quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is still the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, Keanu Benton.
Yeah.
Yes.
His path has gotten a little muddy now with Cam Hayward returning, but that was someone that I was kind of excited about. There's a lot of those types, right? A lot of guys that are interesting, but again, it's like
We have probably, 6 or 7 really like locked and loaded very nice dynasty assets with the defensive tackles, the 2 cornerbacks, Will Anderson.
Yeah, I think a way to look at it is like if you were like color coding them, like you got like 6 or 7 greens, and then you have like 20 yellows.
Yes.
And then there's not a lot of reds yet because
We
it's still
just
too
don't
early,
know.
right?
Yeah, we just don't know.
It's too early to call someone a bust.
I don't think like even these edge rushers, you know, the Lucas Van Nesses and Will McDonald's and these guys that got like less than 25% of snaps. It's like we don't have enough information to call these guys busts. We know defensive line takes a while to develop.
This episode is going to be really tough next year. Just because the defense wasn't drafted. I mean, what was it, the 14th or 15th pick before?
Do you think we will be more excited about the 2024 class in 2025 than we are about last year's class right now?
We'll be more excited about probably the top of the class. But there's just not as much, like, there's not as many, like, Herbigs and
I think it'll be
Toolies and-
defensive line dominant again.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think about Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy.
Are we going to talk about
Latu,
Cedric Gray?
Verse, Turner.
Are we going to be talking about Peyton Wilson?
I think we could be talking about those linebackers because I see clear succession plans for like a lot of those guys. Like the room could clear out pretty quick for Peyton Wilson. You could paint an optimistic case for him in year 2 if Patrick Queen gets cut or just doesn't play well. Or if he's just the second linebacker there.
Yeah.
That's not the worst thing to be. You know, and then in year 3, maybe it's Peyton Wilson as the LB1.
Maybe he just stuffs the stat sheet where it's like 7% of Peyton Wilson is fine.
Yeah. Yep.
That's startable.
Yep.
You
And
know?
then Tyrese Knight in Seattle. We know all those guys there are rentals. Cedric Gray in Tennessee. We know it's Kenneth Murray and Jack Gibbons.
Trevor Wallace.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Jinx on both you boys.
I've gotten so
spot
much
there.
Trevor Wallace.
Edrin Cooper, like he could be LB1 in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So it's like there are
Not drafting him though. He is way too expensive.
second round in
Yeah,
our
it's
home
crazy.
league. Little too
210.
rich.
What's his ADP going in these best balls?
Well, let's take a look at
Probably it'll be not as high as Colson, but
The rookies will keep.
it's just still too high. Whatever it is.
it. He is LB 48.
Yeah, it's still too high.
I don't want to take any rookies in these rookie LBs at least.
Yeah.
Maybe
Especially him though, with Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie there.
Yeah, I'm
No.
Give me McDuffie because let's see where McDuffie is going. He is going as LB 65.
Goodness.
and he'll
Give
be-
me that all day long.
He'll probably be even cheaper now too.
It's like, folks, just take even like I love Cedric Gray. I think he could absolutely be like a league winner type near the end of the season. But you look at like he's going as LB 73. I think that will tick up. Gibbons is going as LB 83. Take Gibbons, folks. Like I'm not excited about Jack Gibbons, but just take the veterans.
you know, just take the whole room though too at that point. You know, if
Because what's
And
my
it's
God? What is Kenneth Murray?
And I guess
Kenneth
it
Murray's
depends on the way
LB
you build.
44.
if you're building like to where you want to draft a couple linebackers at the end, I think you do that. You just take a Gibbons and a
Malik Harrison. If
Cedric
you're in
Gray
on, yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Just take the guys that could, because it's best ball, and you know you don't have to worry about deciding when to start them, and it is a war of attrition because there's no pickups.
Was Jalen Ford a UDFA or was he drafted?
He was drafted to the Saints.
What round? Pretty late.
Pretty late.
5th round, I think.
Oh, okay.
And they have, a ton of linebackers now. Still got Pete Warner and DeMario, and
Willie
then they brought
Gay.
in Willie Gay, and they bring in Kleeky Hudson.
There you go.
He was the 5th round pick, 175 overall.
Yep.
So, anyways, well, there you go, folks. Second year IDP outlook. Next week, very special episode. We hope you guys will tune in. It will be the 400th episode
Wow.
in the IDP show podcast feed. So very excited. And
Live from Bucky's.
We're gonna burn this thing down.
we should just go out with a blaze of glory. Take my office with it.
I'll be
and-
inside.
Yeah, this is Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Addie, we will get to do that. But just for you all, because it is a special episode, we will be doing Dynasty linebackers 48 to 25. We split out the linebackers into 2 episodes, so look forward to that. Going to be all linebacker talk. 24 names will be rattling off for you all, so look forward to that episode. Should be a lot of fun. We just locked in a very fun guest for the next episode of the IDP Trade Show coming later this month. We'll talk about that a little bit later in June, but y'all look forward to that as well. Make sure you check out the IDPshow.com, folks. We got the IDP Show draft kit updated for you over there. All the resources are updated every month and then twice in August to get you ready for those drafts. So A lot of fun stuff happening right now, boys.
Oh, yeah. Never stops.
Fun time of year. Don't
Lock
check
in.
out. Yeah.
Don't get left behind.
That's right. It's a little bit sleepy kind of in the NFL calendar right now.
There's
but,
no sleeping over here. We've stayed locked in this entire year.
The train is rolling.
That's been like that for 4 years now.
We
Doesn't
are
stop.
never not locked in.
Yeah. If anyone rocks with us or has been rocking with us, they know.
You know.
They know.
You know what's up.
You know what's up.
So next week, speaking of locked in, episode 400. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow. 100 a year.
100 a year. Yeah. We're coming up on year number 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
So crazy to think about, boys. So, like I said, next week we will see you all for episode 400, talking Dynasty Linebackers. Sub the site, theidpshow.com. Check out our YouTube, youtube.com/@theidpshow, and we will see you all next week.
It's the IDP